So, hi, Dr. Gemi, and congratulations on the amazing score you've achieved in FMGE June. So, introduce yourself to our audience today so they get to know you better.
Thank you, doctor. Thank you so much for inviting me. Hi, everyone. My name is Dr. Gemi Anitha. I'm from Tamil Nadu. I did my MBBS from New Vision University, Tbilisi, Georgia, and I cracked my June 2021 FMGE with a score of 217, and it was my first attempt. And I'm also a part-time YouTuber. I create YouTube videos to guide my fellow foreign medical graduates, and yeah, I'm currently waiting for my internship. That's all about it.
That's amazing. I completed my medical school right from your neighboring country in Armenia just now. So, and also we are fellow YouTube creators. So we have much similarities. So I hope I can emulate the same success as you in when my turn comes for FMG.
Sure.
I haven't given it yet. So let's break down your journey from the beginning. You went to pursue MBBS abroad. So, did you have any idea then that when you come back, you have to pass this FMGE exam?
Yeah, even before going, I was aware of FMG exam. The first thing when I shared the news that I'm going to go abroad and study medicine, the first thing that people told me was about FMG, that it's extremely difficult and only 15 to 20% of the people crack the exam. But I didn't take it too seriously back then.
Okay, so but you knew that there is some exam. I will eventually have to prepare for it and everything.
Yeah, I knew it.
So when did you, let's say, actually start to prepare for it? Because if I'm not wrong, it was a 6 year course, right?
No,
Just
five
like
five
mine.
years.
5 years course. Okay. So when did you start preparing for this FMG exam?
Okay, when I was in my third year, the fear of FMG, started hitting me little by
Yeah.
little because, I started thinking about my future and I started my on and off preparations when I was in my fifth year.
Yeah.
Because, during the last year, we had to concentrate more on our graduation. There'll be a lot of filtering out of students, as you know.
Yeah.
So I had to really work hard. So it used to be like on and off. Sometimes I used to focus on FMG, and some other times I just used to focus on my academics. My full on preparation, I would say, when I was in my, after I graduated, when I came back to India, I started my full on preparations.
Okay, so that's when you like thoroughly sat down every day, started preparing for just one exam
Yeah.
completely. That was the full preparation. Otherwise, you started on and off from third year.
No,
So
no,
third, fourth, fifth year.
fifth year. Yeah.
Okay, fifth year you started on and off.
Yes. Fifth year, it
Okay,
was on and off. And after coming to India from January, uh, I started my full on preparation. So it was like six months full on preparation.
so you did 6 months full preparation in India,
Yes.
and before that on and off for 1 2 years.
Yeah.
Okay, so what resources did you use in your preparation? Because, by the way, you got 217, if I'm not wrong,
Yeah.
right? So that's an amazing score because it's a screening exam. Like people don't even study that much to get 200 plus. They just want 150. We to cross the line, get done with it because there are no seats and everything. That's the mindset of people. They don't want to top the exam because person who's getting 200 and person who's getting 150 both are screened as pass. So how did you manage to get 200? So that reminds me, what resources did you use to get this stellar score?
Yeah. I started off with prep ladder videos. While I was in my fifth year, I started watching prep ladder video lectures, and I used to take my own handwritten notes. And towards the end, I used Unacademy videos for my revisions.
Okay.
Yeah, to have an idea about the previous year's questions and the frequently repeated questions, I had a look at Dr. Deepak Mawa's FMG
Hmm.
solutions book.
Okay, so you practiced your MCQ questions from that book as well.
Yes.
So often people ask, when they are studying from prep ladder, which most of the, I guess, foreign medical students do for FMG, most of the people use prep ladder. So they often ask this question, and I'm sure people must have asked you, like, did you first do the main videos? Did you do rapid revision? If you did main videos, did you do them when you were in medical school, or did you do them afterwards? So just clear all our doubts regarding that. How did you study?
Okay. When I started my preparations, I just watched the video lectures, all the detailed videos, main videos, I mean,
Okay.
and I used to take my own handwritten notes, and this went on for like 1 year. I used to do the same, repeat it again and again, and during my last 6 months, I started solving a lot more MCQs, and I started giving mocks as the exam when the exam was near, and I used my rapid revision videos while my exam was like 3 to 4 months away. I used rapid
Oh,
revision only for my revisions, and I depended mainly on the main videos.
okay. So did these main videos also help you in your medical school?
Of course, it helped me a lot. I just used to refer the main videos for few subjects in my 5th year.
Okay, so eventually you were studying for both
Yes,
your
yes.
medical school as well as FMG in one go by
Yeah.
the main videos. So, and you were mentioning that you took your own notes. Is that what you prefer? Because the prep ladder also has pre-made notes, and I personally prefer the pre-made notes because I'm lazy. Maybe I don't want to take my own notes. But why do you recommend other people, or why do you yourself take handwritten notes when pre-made notes are available?
Okay, I'm this old school person when it comes to
Yeah.
learning. I really love, the traditional chalk and talk method of teaching, and I used to, I like to take my own handwritten notes. I love using a lot of colors.
Well,
I was okay. I'm just used to, being like this since my first year. I was the student who used to take own handwritten notes, watching the lectures, and even in
hmm.
classrooms, I used to take my own notes.
Okay, so you're just you have a habit of doing that, so why not?
Yes.
Okay, so tell me your workflow. How did you do it? How did you study for this? Because as you said, you use Prep Ladder. So did you refer to any books side by side? If you did, how did you do? Did you watch videos first? Did you read the book first? How did you take notes? Did you take notes from the video? Did you take notes from the books? When did you solve the question bank? So all your workflow. How did you proceed with this?
Okay, I use the standard textbooks for my academics. I used to have my own notes, and also when I started preparing for FMG, I took notes from the video lectures. And
Okay.
while taking my notes, I used to highlight all the important things and the high yield information. I mean, and things that I tend to forget often, or facts and numericals. The all the volatile information. I used to just highlight them for later use. And I also started solving MCQs towards the end, and I gave mocks, and that's it.
That's so that was your whole process or workflow.
Yes.
So you mentioned you underlined or highlighted some volatile information, as you said, because you have to revise those that information again and again. So how did you plan your revision? When did you revise? Like for example, I studied cystic fibrosis today, and let's say it has a CFTR gene or in-frame deletion or what all, some volatile information which might be important for the exam. So if you studied cystic fibrosis today, when did you revise it? Like how long was the gap, or and how many times did you do it?
Yeah, actually, I revised for around 4 to 5 times,
Hmm.
and I paid more attention to revisions while my exam was 6 months away. During the
Okay.
last year, I was so busy in taking my own notes. You know how long it takes to,
Yeah.
have our own handwritten notes. So
That's why I don't do it.
yeah, I was more focused on that. So I had no time for revisions actually. So while my exam was 6 months away, I started revising, and while revising, I started solving a lot more MCQs. It's not that
Okay.
I always used to sit and study my notebooks and revise it again and
Hmm.
again. Solving MCQs helped me to revise more efficiently, I would say, because I used to also concentrate on the wrong options, and I used to revise all the options and focused on
Yes.
my discussion part more.
Yeah, because MCQ is also a way of active recall.
Yes, yes.
You probably know that. And how you mentioned you practiced MCQs from FMG Solutions by Dr. Deepak Marwa. Did you also solve MCQs from the Prepladder app?
Yes, I did. I did.
Okay, so how did you do that? After main videos or custom, full subjects, all subjects? How did you segregate that?
Maybe after completing 5 to 6 chapters, I would used to solve MCQs, and most of the times it used to be like after completing a particular subject. If I
Okay,
don't understand something, I dive into MCQs. It was like that.
okay. So it helps you understand
Yes,
better.
yes.
Okay. So did you complete the whole syllabus for FMG? I'm supposing all 19 subjects, or did you leave something?
I did not leave a subject. I was thorough with around 14 to 15 subjects, and for the remaining subjects, I went through the rapid revisions. It's not that I just left a subject just like that. I
Okay.
used to refer the important topics even if I didn't have any idea about any subject. So it was like that.
So, okay, this is where rapid revision comes in. I
Yes.
think this is where it is king, I would say, because especially I think even in your college, you are taught public health, but you are not taught PSM. I
Yes.
would
Yes.
say you you are taught public health, you are taught what is cohort study and everything, but you are not taught the Indian schemes and
National health
obviously
programs,
yeah
especially.
national health programs and all. So that is where I think rapid revision comes in for especially for us because we have no idea about this. We've never studied this in our medical school. So talking about rapid revision, uh, when did you start using this rapid revision of prep ladder and how did it help you?
Okay, after completing my main video lectures and while I was revising, I started looking at the rapid revision videos. Actually, when I started, I was not a big fan of rapid revision videos. But as the exam was near, I just completely understood the importance of rapid revision because
Yeah,
for an entrance exam, it's important to know what to focus and what not to focus when the exams are approaching. It's very,
yeah.
very important. Only during the time, students will understand the importance of rapid revisions. It's such a nice initiative by the Prepladder team, I would say. And after watching rapid revision videos, I also went through the Q banks that were integrated with the modules, and I
Yeah.
also went through the snapshot sections.
Okay. So, about rapid revision, let's focus more on that because you still had 6 months for your preparation after coming back to India. For example, like my university, it finishes in July and I was back home in August. So, to give my December, let's say September, October, November, I just have 3 to maximum 3.5 months. So I think rapid revision for me is even more important. I don't even have the luxury of 6 months. That would be like a second attempt for me if I have to go that way. So, about rapid revision, would you recommend someone to directly go to rapid revision if that person does not have time just to, at least know the high yield stuff?
Of course, yes, that's the main use of rapid revisions. Even if you don't have any idea about the subject, even if you haven't started your preparations, I think it's okay to give it a try by watching the rapid revisions videos. And it's important to know each and everything that is given in rapid revision. It's not that, you're trying to pick things up from rapid revision because everything is high yield. So it's important to cover everything thoroughly from rapid revision. I think it would be more than enough if you watch the rapid revision videos and start solving MCQs.
So, how would you rate this resource, rapid revision, on a scale of, let's say, 0 to 10? How would you rate rapid revision as a resource for someone who has not completed the main videos and for someone who is using rapid revision actually for revision, who has studied everything and is using it for revision, and also for someone who is using it as the main resource because he or she does not have time? How much would you rate it on a scale of 0 to 10?
I would give it a 10 on 10 because, it's a life saving thing for students who did not have an idea about FMGE. Um, the content is very precise, and it includes only the high yield information which are being repeatedly asked in FMG. So yeah, I'd go with 10 on 10. And it's also important to solve MCQs attached with the integrated module, as well as go through the snapshots to pass the exam.
Okay, talking about snapshots, I wonder, you gave the June attempt, and there was a lot of criticism about the exam that, oh, this exam pattern was completely different. There were a lot of image-based questions. There were a lot of clinic-based questions. So, do you feel that doing these snapshots, which is for images, did it help you in that?
Yes, of course, it helped me a lot. And at the last moment, finding images in one place is such a great thing.
Yeah.
Because you won't have enough time to find images from
Yeah, from the books or
yes,
different books or
yes,
etc.
yes.
etc.
You won't have enough time. So it was such a great thing. And yeah, June 2020 FMG exam was filled with images and lengthy clinical
Yeah.
scenarios, integrated concepts.
So how did you cope up with the lengthy clinical based scenarios? Because the time given was still the same, and you had to read the whole question stem, look at the options, assess everything, and then answer. So what helped you in doing that?
Okay. Initially it gave me a big shock because, I found it really hard to manage my time. I think I had only 20 minutes left before my exam got over. And as I started reading the questions twice, I picked up this habit of paying more attention to the keywords. There were so many keywords given like that in June 2021 FMGE. So it was easier for me to rule out the options. And the options are
Okay.
also easier to rule out in general if you compare it with other exams.
Okay. So that this exam, I mean, the June attempt was specifically a bit different from the others, but still you managed to like have a stellar score of 217. So you must have really, studied hard for it. But what do you think is the ideal time to start preparing for FMG MCI exam?
Okay, I think ideally it's better if you started from your fourth year onwards, because there are 19 subjects to cover and you need at least 1 year. Ideally it's fourth year, but it's okay if you even started from your fifth year. But my advice is, if you can start it from your first year onwards, and if you tend to pay more attention to the important topics that are being stressed upon in MBE pattern exams, it would be great for you, and it would be easier for you to crack, and nobody can stop you from passing the exam.
Okay, so by fourth year, let me restate, you mean the second last year of your med school.
Yes, yes.
Okay, so uh, it would be amazing if from second last year, it would be the best if it is from first year.
Yeah.
Okay, and if you still haven't done it, and if you do it just after coming back to India, I think rapid revision
Yes.
should be enough to at least get above that 150 line. Okay, so that is amazing. So as I said, people usually have the mindset, maybe including me as well, that I maybe do not need a 200. 200 plus is amazing. It gives you a sense of pride that you've achieved something. Uh, but people usually have the mindset, somehow I need to cross this line of 150. So, what is the secret behind getting this 200 plus score? Because not many people get it.
Yeah, but many of the FMG aspirants, their dream is to cross 200 plus. I mean, even if
Yeah,
they
yeah,
can't do it, initially we wish to achieve that score. I was
yeah,
also a student like that, and as I started focusing on FMG, and when I realized that it's too difficult, even I had thought that, okay, let's just pass the exam. It's okay if we crack it, and it's even okay if you cross 150 plus. But I'm that student who, when I study something, it always amazes me, and I try to complete everything. I don't like leaving
yeah.
any topic. If I take a subject, I try to spend more time and read everything. If somebody is taking one day to study something,
Yeah.
and if you give me the same material, I would take the whole week to do that. I'm such a slow learner, and I, try to study everything in detail. I think that quality helped me to achieve this score. It's not that I was targeting to be a topper, but yeah.
Okay. So you read everything thoroughly.
Yes, yes.
That helped you.
Yeah. And I was
Okay.
also preparing for NEET PG at the same time. It's not that I was focusing only on FMG.
Okay, so you were, but the material was same, but
Yeah.
that mindset was that let me just do everything thoroughly now, so I don't have to do it
Yes,
again.
yes,
So that helped you a lot, I guess, and that also helped you in your medical school.
yes.
Okay, so what would you say are the most high yield subjects? Like the questions were filled like on these subjects. So what would you say? Like just on from the top of your head, the most high yield topics or subjects you think
In
for
general
FMG
or
exam?
in June 2020 in FMG?
In general, in a person preparing for FMG, like should not leave this at all at any cost. If one has to do something, do this.
Okay. Okay, it's always better to start with OB-GYN. It carries
Okay.
at least around 30. This is the minimum marks, and you can do PSM. It's also high scoring, and it's you get direct questions from PSM, so it's an easy scoring subject. And of course, surgery. The questions are direct even from surgery, and we can also do patho, pharma, and radiology.
Okay.
Recently, seeing the pattern of June 2021 FMG exam, there has been more stress on ENT as well as ophthalmology.
Okay. So these are like more high yield subjects,
Yes, yes.
you would say. What about medicine? Because medicine is so vast, it takes so much time. But what do you think about that?
Yeah. For people who have been studying medicine since their med school, you can go with medicine. Or for people who, most of the students, we tend to leave out medicine for the last moment. For people like them, my advice is to, cover patho and pharma as well as radiology well. You can,
Yeah,
somehow manage. You can answer
medicine questions are bad
60 to 70% percent of the medicine questions also.
because it's all integrated manner
Yes,
nowadays
yes.
and all. Okay, so must not leave ENT, opthal, pharm,
That,
path, OBGYN, and surgery,
yes,
and PSM.
yes.
So these are the most important topics. So we have studied so much, 19 subjects, and when the time comes, there is just 1 month left, or there are 2 weeks left. How do you manage your studies in that crunch time? Because obviously you cannot revise all 19 subjects in that short period of time. How do you fill yourself with confidence that you can do this, and how do you manage your studies, everything regarding that crunch time? How did you manage it?
I think you shouldn't be asking me this question because I did not even do a single day of my last month revision. Due to some unfortunate situations, my whole
Okay.
family got affected with COVID, and I had to,
Oh, so sorry.
yeah. And my father was admitted in a hospital. His saturation dropped down to 70 percentage, and with so much going on around me, I couldn't even do it a
You
single day.
couldn't.
But in general, if I have to advise foreign medical graduates, I would say, while you make your notes, either highlight it, all the high yield information, or make a separate short notebook and try to
Hmm.
write down everything you tend to forget, or, all the high yield information.
Volatile
Yeah, volatile
information.
information, and try to revise them again and again the whole month. It's not
Okay.
necessary that you have to study everything, and there's no point revising them again and again. Just try to revise the things which you tend to forget often, and it's the time for you to solve MCQs and give mocks. You should at least give 4 to 5 mocks before appearing for FMT.
Okay. So talking about mocks, where you gave the mock test on the Prep Ladder app.
Yes, yes, I gave it on the reply.
Okay, so how do you assess yourself after a mock exam? Like, okay, you got this much score. do you again go through your mistakes, or how do you assess yourself after giving a mock exam?
Okay.
What is your workflow after that?
Okay, so my mocks started off with 153. I was so much
Okay.
confident that I would at least cross 180 plus, but to my surprise, it was just 150, and it helped me analyze where I went wrong, and it helped me focus on my weaker subjects because they gave this analysis after every mock,
Hmm. Yes.
and it's important to go through the mistakes. It's not necessary that you have to go through everything. Just go through the mistakes because you have limited time at the end,
Yeah.
and just try to go through the discussion part and try to rectify all your mistakes.
Okay, so that's what you did after giving every mock
Yes.
exam. So did you gave your mock exams at the same time as you would give the exam? Did you keep that in mind, or you just gave it whenever you had time?
No, whenever I had time I used to do it. It's not that.
Because some people think like, okay, if my exam is from 9 to 12, then 1 to 3, I would also give my mock from 9 to 12 and then 1 to 3,
No,
something
no,
like
I
that.
had this habit of
To make
studying.
it a habit.
Yeah, I had this habit of studying during afternoon sessions, so I never really had this problem, so it was okay for me to give it at any moment.
How about also managing your sleep or the day just before your exam, because you are anxious, you have a big exam coming up the next day. How did you manage the previous day and the previous night of the exam?
My God, it was so difficult, and I hardly slept around 4 hours, I think. I did not even revise properly, so that was an added burden to me, and
Yeah, yeah,
yeah, it was very difficult, and I used to open my book, open my notes, and then close it again, and it went on and on. I couldn't study a thing. It was so hard for me to manage with the stress, but somehow I managed to sleep that day, and during the morning I couldn't open the book, so I didn't really
yeah,
I had the stress of studying. I just
yeah.
looked at the images and went for the exam.
Okay, so just last minute you looked at the
Yeah,
images, nothing else.
yeah.
That was the last thing you did. And probably the adrenaline got you through the exam even after 4 hours of sleep.
Yes.
What was your feeling after the exam? Did you think you would achieve a 200 plus score?
I never really thought that. It was a huge surprise for me. I knew that I would pass the exam for sure, but 200 plus was my dream come true. I felt very happy. I shared the news with my family, and it was such a
Yeah.
nice moment.
And what about after, like, you get a break between paper one and paper two,
Yes, yes,
right?
yeah.
So what did you do in that break? How did you control your anxiety, if you had any, in that break? And what was your feeling after giving paper one?
Actually, paper one went okay for me. So
Okay.
I really felt happy after giving my paper one. But the usual thing, I was not able to study for the
Yeah.
whole time. So I just had my lunch, and I tried to look at the images again. I went for paper two. Paper two was
Yeah.
very difficult for me,
Okay.
especially to manage time because it had lengthy clinical scenarios. Otherwise,
Yeah.
concept wise, it was okay.
Okay. So there were more clinical based questions in paper two than paper one.
Yeah, yeah.
So that must have appeared as a shock to you, like, what is this and all. But you managed, like, you knew that you would pass at least.
Yeah, yeah, I
But
knew that. And it's not that they followed the blueprint. We had many questions from certain subjects, and from certain subjects like psychiatry and derma, we hardly saw one or two questions. So it was also a
okay,
huge challenge to tackle.
so there was no blueprint followed,
Yeah,
because I think the questions are all
yes,
integrated, and
yes.
you cannot separate that. Okay, this question is from derma.
Yeah,
Like, they might include derma in some other question, and you won't even know that, oh, this was a derma
yeah,
question
yeah.
or something like.
It starts hitting you only after completing the exam, and when you have that realization period going on, only then you would remember. Okay, yeah, this question was from psychiatry, and this was from derma. It was like that.
So after your exam, did you divulge in this conversation with your friends that, oh, I missed this question. Oh, I got this question wrong, something like that. Or you just stayed away from it.
No, I tried my best to stay away from all those things, but I couldn't control myself. So yeah, I did all those discussions, usual discussions with my friends.
So would you recommend doing
No,
that or
please
no?
don't do that, guys.
So just give your exam,
Yeah.
go home
And sleep well.
don't think.
Yeah.
Sleep. Sleep. I think the previous night is difficult for every student. I would say, like,
Yeah.
because everyone is anxious about the next day, and I think every student's adrenaline is their best friend during the exam to get through it. Okay, so that was amazing, and I think we've discussed everything about this amazing score, how to achieve it. And I personally have got I've learned many tricks from you, what to do, what not to do, and I shall practice that in my FMGE attempt, and I'm sure other people will. So, do you have any last message for the fellow aspirants and students who will be clearing FMG or the next exam in the future?
Okay, for FMG aspirants, all I would say is that don't be afraid, because only the basic concepts would be asked. So try to build your concepts right from the beginning, and you can do it, guys. It's not that it's a competitive exam; it's just a screening test. So try to give in your best, and you'll certainly crack it. And for people who are appearing for next, I think it's a great idea to start integrating your subjects. It's very important to have an integrated knowledge, and also that way it will kill our boredom, right? It's boring to study the same subject again and again. So when you start integrating, you get a grasp of all the key clinically oriented concepts well, and also it will kill your boredom. All the best to everybody.
So start studying in an integrated manner.
Yeah.
And I think the resource Prep Ladder would again do well enough for integrated studies, as you've used it. So I think we can trust you. You've used it and you've got 200 plus score. So I think that's great, and all the best for your future. And I think I can learn from you, and hopefully also get a good score, or at least pass in the screening exam. And yeah, that's it. Thank you for coming on the show and spreading all this information to our foreign medical students.
Thank you so much for the opportunity, and all the best to you, doctor. You're going to drop the exam. Thank you.